that are done in a series that I'm working on, and this particular painting that you have chosen to work on is called Adi Lakshmi, of the first ever goddess. The first Adi means first, so the primary goddess Lakshmi. And in the last two classes, what we had done was to first of all plan on the reference. We did a lot on the reference, grading the references and trying to see how to use them the best, and planning essentially in our first class. And then the second class we moved on to do a bit more into execution, and we did the execution of this particular section. And yeah, we have the face of this little girl as per our plan, and we have aligned the body of Lakshmi picture to that fit that of this little girl, and we have the overall structure drawn. And now we will enter the phase of blocking. Blocking is also in a way redefining or defining even more clearly all these spaces and deciding on some base color. So the colors that you're going to choose need not necessarily be the final colors, but these are some base colors to just define spaces now for us to proceed with the next step. So that's the whole idea. And along the line, we will also be doing something very important, that is corrections. Yeah, we will have to necessarily do some corrections, and that's a part of the storyline. We are always, trying to find some scope for improvement and improvising along the line. Yeah, while we are working, that's going to be a part of the process. And for today's work, I have synthetic brushes, and I have some color paints that I'm going to work with. And I will get closer to the paint, and then we are ready to get started. So the first thing that I would like to do is to paint the face and the body, all the skin color related stuff first, and also try to readjust the hands wherever needed. I do look for some adjustments, like I said earlier. So I'm going to do that skin color tone first, and for that I will take vermilion, yellow ochre, and titanium white to begin with. And in the first, the second layer that we are working, I'm not really trying to get the skin tonality right away, but of course it's a part of the process. I will try to keep that in mind, that it's going to be a lighter color base, but essentially right now I'm only blocking, so I just need the base colors. So that's exactly why I'm going to stick to these colors. Um, let me take titanium white. And I do have vermilion ready with me. That's right here. And what I would need is yellow ochre. Once that is all ready, I'm going to blend it and show it to you. I use the brush number 1 flat to do the base color, and I'm going to show it to you like this. Yes, I think this is easier to say this way. And I do have the leftover oil. I'm not really thinking of taking more oil now. This vermilion and yellow ochre itself gives one kind of a skin tone, and this is a good base for some Western skin tones. Um, Also some Middle Eastern skin tones, provided you add, titanium white or white in some proportions, you will see that it twists around. I think this is a fair enough range to begin with. And if I have to look at it, and like I said, I'm not going to aim for the exact tone right away, but if I look at it, somewhat it fits in overall. Not the best, but fits in. So this is fine for me to work with right now. And I'm not taking too much of paint. Look at it. See, we have a small area to cover. So keep that in mind. And maybe if you would like to have the picture of the girl with you, that's also a good idea. I have it printed, you know that very well. And if you need to have it printed or have it in your laptop or something, it's helpful, yeah, for you to just take a look at it. Yeah, I'm just going to throw in that color there. So moving the camera back to the canvas. So when I do this, I know that there are lines that we had drawn, rows and columns that we had done. So I try my best to cover. If it doesn't, it's fine. I can take a little more of white to blend it in. I'm aware of it that with few more layers, it gets better. So for now, I'm just working on that base. And doing the face. And I'm also thinking of making the face slightly, one tone, one notch larger than the overall that I had done. And if I did that so, then I'll have to remember to readjust the whole, body also. I just wanted it because it looked overall looked a little tinier for what it could be in this kind of space. So I'm adjusting it, but not too big. If you see, the way I'm doing it, it's just a slight expansion, a minute expansion that I'm doing, and so the ear. See the other ear when I draw it, I don't remember, but I'm going to do some kind of spacing there, and I'm going to go ahead and start using the same color tonality for the hands. So now I need the hand images here. Not that we are going to adapt the size of it, but we are going to look at the way hands are placed and such. And that's important for me. I think I will need more white here. So this flat brush number 1 is helping me in the process. And if you see, I'm trying to hide that line that I drew with blue. So in that way, it's all getting one step bigger. So without me taking too much effort on extrapolating the size. So it's just that I'm using the color itself to hide that line that I drew. So I'm trying to do that. And I'll show you in a short while how I'm working with the fingers. It's not going to be a detail right away, but yeah, I would like to have certain things done even in those cases. This section of work that we are doing in layer 2 usually feels like what children do in their coloring worksheet. When they color, the small kids, when they color a worksheet, they follow that contour lines and fill up a color. So it's essentially that. Really, we are not looking at any kind of perfection or any kind of realistic, measure in this juncture, at least at this juncture right now. We are not focusing on that right now. Just to be clear on that scope. So I have essentially used that. Now I need to work on the fingers. I need the round brush for the same. So I'm going to show you what I do here. The thumb, give the space for the thumb. There is this finger, provide the space for the same, and 3 other small fingers here. Space is provided, cover the zone, fill the zone. And we do the same for the other 3 hands as well. So why do we have multiple hands? That's a $1 million question. The deities, I think it's also there in few other cultures to see that the deities have multiple hands. There is a purpose to that, and I'm very sure the moment I say that this is the reason, there will be people saying, oh, there's also another reason. So there are many reasons to that. I can give you a couple of ones. First is that this is Goddess Lakshmi, and Goddess Lakshmi is really related to wealth and all the good health and all positive attributes in life necessarily. And these positive attributes just don't come along because we are praying to a god or goddess. It's that we need to use our hands for multiple purposes and be open in our behavior to actually attract abundance. So that's the core to that, and that's one of the reasons I feel personally that that's why we have so many hands appearing. That's one of the reasons. And the other reason that I am kind of aware of is that when humans evolved as a species on the earth, before that was animals, and we evolved from animals. To be precise, I think we are the descendants of monkey family, ape family. So when we descended, it's not that we ended up descending the way we look right now. There was a kind of species existing between us and the apes, and that species had multiple arms or legs, or one body and 2 head, and so many things, which we might today call as disalignment or even a handicap. Even in today's world, you might have seen somebody that is having 6 fingers instead of 5, and having an extra growth in some of the body and so on. But we easily say that it's a distortion or deformation, but need not necessarily be, because it was a kind of species that was prevalent, existing in a phase, in a era where there was a transition between the ape and the human form as we know now, and that was, if I remember correctly, that was called, at least in the traditions that I am aware of, we had named them as Nagas. So Nagas were the ones that had, kind of an animal form, a human body, or multiple hands or legs or so many, and they kind of were different from us. So maybe there was also a ritual to celebrate them and to respect them and so on. So, and we still continue that. That could be one of the possibility that I always think of. So I think we are done with the body coloring, and now that we know that the face and body are slightly bigger, face and hands are slightly bigger. Now we need to adjust the rest of the portion, and we can use another color here. I'm looking at, okay, she's got a beautiful green and beautiful red sari here. This is not going to be a sari. When it comes to a girl, that's why I make a shirt kind of a thing, and then we can imagine that she is wearing a blouse or a shirt, and there is a beautiful skirt that she is wearing. So that's the easiest form that we could imagine, and we could try different colors. And here I would say don't go necessarily by the colors that I'm using. I'm a fan of so many colors, and this is going to be a challenge for me, because really I want to build some soothing colors when I come to the close of all the series of 8 paintings. So that's going to be a challenge for me. I have taken a bit of olive green to work with and see how that things go as the shirt for her. Green is emoting a lot of positivity, and I want to start the series of this painting, the first of the series, isn't it? Adi Lakshmi, with that. So that's the plan. I'm taking, just looking at the brushes. I think I will take a round brush, number 3. So that's what I'm going to take. And we talked about brushes and everything in my basic session, and I assume that you all had a good time watching that basic and learning a little bit from that. So what I'm doing is that to that olive green, I'm adding white, the titanium white, a little bit. Making it lighter is one of the goals. I just want, I don't know how to put it. If you have already seen my artwork, you would know that I am very, very popular for using bright colors and such. I want to tone down and have some soothing eye colors, colors palette, and that's what I had imagined for this particular series of artwork. So I'm going to start that. I don't know how I will do that, but I'm going to just get started with that. So that's what I'm doing here. So it was olive green and a bit of titanium white that I added for the blouse. I have not, okay, there is a lot of jewelry. I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm going to just do the shape of that, blouse, going a little bit further and making it bigger, one size bigger, and not too big, one size bigger. We'll come back to the hair also in a short while once we are done with the clothing. Yeah? I forgot one of the hands. That's silly. Right, so the finger here, I'm using the brush number 1 to draw the spacing for the fingers. Yeah. think I have managed that, and now I'm going to move on to do the love. So that's the green that is coming up. And like I said, if you are choosing one color and wondering whether it will go fine, I'm choosing a different color. Do not worry too much when it dries, when this layer dries, and if you think the overall, you will get to see it, when we do the overall outlook of it, and you will get to see that something doesn't go well, and you can always rework on it. One of my students, he is a 10-year-old, and he was, when I was helping him work on his painting, he was so quiet, and he suddenly said to me one thing that I totally agree with, even though he's a 10-year-old, the way he said it, he said, painting is a spiritual process. And with oil painting, one really feels that. So do not get too much tied up into the color has to be bright or beautiful or whatever, and I'm missing something. Do not worry too much about it right away. We will we will get so many chances to rework and so on. So for this, I want to have a bright red kind of a thing. So I think I will go with the vermilion base that I had used initially. I think that itself goes. And I'm too lazy to switch brush. I haven't switched brushes. I'm with the same brush number 3 round, and yeah, it has a bit of that green, but it's okay. I'm just going again and filling that. And if you're wondering, okay, what's going to happen to the lotus, because that's also another in the same color, we will use, possibly I will take crimson. That's even more viable for the color of the lotus, for the color of the lotus. So what you're doing right now, like I said, we're just going to fill in the spaces to see if things are matching well and they're talking to each other and so on. Yeah. So that done. So we kind of took care of the dress. And in some places, as you can see, the lines are vanishing. Some places they are still strongly showing. Do not worry too much about that. Let's just get focused on filling this whole canvas. So the next focus is going to come back to the girl's face and her hair color, okay? And I wanted you to just warm up. That's why I did not ask you to focus on her eyes or anything right away. So we are going to focus on her eyes now. So if you have a zero brush, that will be helpful. We need a little bit of titanium white for the sides of the eye. So it's not that it is completely white, it is just that we are going to use that white to help us do the layering. So just putting a dot here, dot there, not too much. Leaving it like that. Okay, so I haven't done much. Just left it like that. And I'm looking for it's not black color though, and so I'm going to use what is remaining of the blue primary blue, yeah, and and I will mix it with vermilion because that will give me that mm, what do you call it, burnt umber kind of color. And yeah, just for me to do the eye. So I'm just doing the eye. And you have to just follow the lines that you have created. In case you haven't done this nicely in your previous attempt with the drawing, just be cautious right here. All you have to do is to focus on the circle, that is the iris in the pupil. Once you have that, there is a curve kind of a thing, yeah. There is this curve coming up, yeah. And once we are done with the upper curve, then we can do the very thin. It's not a total curve also, it's just a very thin line. If you look at it, it's a very thin line that we get, yes. And have the skin tone around to adjust in other places wherever you feel the need. Adjusting here one more time. Because I have made the face slightly bigger, I will have a very minute change in terms of where the nose, the hole of the nose and the lip. It's going to just come down slightly, a tad bit, yeah. So I've done that, and I'm just going to do the eyebrow, and even the eyebrow, I can see my mistakes. I can put a strong spacing here. I will remove that. So her eyebrow is right here, going there and coming down. Yes, and here as well. It's just coming out like that. Yeah. Yes. I think she's there. And for the pores that are, defining her nostrils, I'm just doing the very slight dot kind of a thing. Yes. And making the curve wherever you feel comfortable doing, you can. I'm not going to do total details like I said. You can do that. So all these are done, and now I'm going to use the same vermilion that is left. A little more of vermilion, yellow ochre, whatever, to have a slightly darker pitch for the lip line. I'm continuing to use the round brush number 1 to do the lip line. Remember, I'm going to make a slight adjustment to the slight variation to where it is, so it's just coming down a bit. Okay, I can see that it works now nicely, but I need the color to be readjusted, so I'm going to take a little more of the vermilion so that it comes out like maroon when it gets added to the yellow ochre and the remaining of blue. And like I said, do not get too much boggled down by the color right now. We're only blocking, so we need some clarity on certain aspects of the body. And as long as you're able to fit that in to your storyline, the task for layer 2 is kind of done, I should say. Now I'm going to do the I like this color, so I think this is a good color for me to work as the hair, because I did not work on the hairline. Okay, I'm going to use that. think it's a good one to work with the hairline. I like it. Yes. Now, do you see that she's coming out slightly better in spite of all these rows and grids that we have done? You can see a little bit of her face coming out, popping out. And she doesn't look exactly like the picture here, but still, there is this kind of resemblance in structure. We could bring her forehead down like this a bit. Right. And let's do use this to do a slight bit of contour lines to define her chin. That's where the shadow is. Yeah? We don't necessarily need to work on the shadows right away. If you want to do so, it's a good idea to do that. I'm going to teach the light and dark and shadows and such when we come to the next layer. So I have saved it for the next layer, that's why. Otherwise, if you want to, you are welcome to try that right away. I think we have managed her face fine. So the face is done, and I'm going to take a bit more of the yellow ochre boldly to work on her jewelry in the hip. That is the belt kind of a thing. I think that comes from the original picture, the Lakshmi picture, Adi Lakshmi, the first of the Lakshmis. And I will use that to draw. I'm going to add a little bit of white because we need to draw a tiara or a crown for her. Now I go back to this picture. Yes. Okay, done with that. I'm just doing a dome. I'm not doing any kind of detail. I'm doing a dome, and there's a small dome there, and then a tiniest one there. So we managed that. That goes there. Yes. Okay. I think this is fair enough for us to make a stop with the crowns. Now let's go to the lotus flower. Like I said, I'm going to use crimson and white to have the lighter form of poppy, pinky lotus flower color. Okay, and I think I'm lazy. So I have my brush number 1 flat that already had the skin color. That is, fair enough for me to mix this color. And I'm going to use that to go over the lotus flowers that are in her hand first. These are small little ones. Yes, small little ones done. And I will use the same to work on the larger flower where she is seated. I think I will need a little bit of oil to push the color in. Fill it in, fill everything in. not worry too much about the details yet. It's not a detailing session, and this is not a session that is focused on tonalities and what do you call it, light versus dark. The way I teach, this is for the benefit of ones who have checked out my courses for the first ever time. I try to split this into focusing on filling the canvas properly, and then I give a layer that is focused on the depths, different tonalities, light versus dark, and then there is nuances and so on. So in that way, you will get a chance to take care of everything that you have in mind. So I'm structuring it in such a way that you can take it nice and easy, slow, and without feeling of the pressure. And if you want to make this flower slightly bigger also, you could do that. In my case, I feel that it will be helpful to make it slightly bigger. Again, one notch bigger to hold the body of this girl. If you are worried about you're missing out the lines and the contours are getting muddled up in this paint, you can also draw them again if you want, but for now just focus on filling the whole space. But while you're filling, maintain the direction of the contour of everything that you are painting. And that is a good practice any which ways. Even though it's called a filling, I will not do it like this because I know the petal is like this. So I will try to follow that contour. Yes. I want to bring that, the petals behind are also visible. Almost fine. And also remember, do not use too much of oil. The medium that I talked about, I use cold pressed raw linseed oil. Do not use too much of it. If it starts flowing down the canvas at this point, you know what, it becomes too polished at this layer itself, and it is very difficult for you to rework on them. So the lesser the oil is, the easier for you to rework and do the other layers. We can give the shine at a later point when we are nearing completion. Yes, I'm just increasing the height here to make sense. Yes, I think we have overall done the lotus flower space. We have to, we have one more a little bit of yellow ochre work to do, and then we are ready for the background. Trying to make it as big as it could get here. All right, I think I am fairly done with the flower. I'm going to move back to brush one round for the plate that is holding all the gold. And the way I have got the plate here, it's far too low, and I think it has to be somewhere over here. I want to put it back here. I'm not going to do the gold right away, so it's just a hollow plate right now. I'll fill it in possibly. Maybe we can have it like a heap filled in to fill in that space and fill in that space possibly, but necessarily we are not going to do the detail now. Have it filled in like this if you want, and that's enough for now. Now we are ready for the background. Okay, that's mine. I have promised on few things to myself that I will keep the tonality so pleasant for the eye, and I will not use bold colors, sharp colors. All the colors will be toned down. Even this will be toned down. How am I going to do that? It's another challenge. I will, yeah, will. But for the background, I usually go for lighter backgrounds. That is, I think every painting around me is lighter background. So I want to start with something darker, but not black, but darker, and then evolving into the, bringing the character to the front. So I am thinking of a blue and black mixture. I don't know how it's going to come, but I have a lot of blues with me, so I'm just going to look at the blue options. Ultramarine blue. Okay. And a bit of black, and let's see how that goes. I don't want it turning gray as well. This is going to be an experiment. Ivory black, mask black, whatever you have, a little bit of it. And this is something I'm also testing. So if you want something else for a background, please go for it. The background here is also a nice one. Can you see the logic that it's lighter as we come closer to the picture itself? Yeah. Yeah, it's lighter as we come closer here, and then it's darker towards the corners. So that's a good idea that you could try, or you could try anything else. So don't be struck in that idea. Okay, I'm just thinking now. I am thinking in terms of adding a little bit of black to this blue. Let me see how this goes here. Not bad, and if I add the pink, okay, that's a beautiful, what do you call, dark purple color that's coming up, and I'm liking the idea. As long as it doesn't turn brown, this is looking good. I added a bit of black, ultramarine blue, and the remaining of the colors from the crimson that I used for the crimson that I had used for lotus flower. I'm going to add a bit of white to lighten it up. I don't want it too dark right away. Let's assess something in the middle, at least for me right now, because I'm experimenting. I would never do this. But I don't want to end up doing totally light also. Okay, it's in the middle. I've got this color. I'm going to show you in a short while. So it's this color that I have. And it can get darker also when we have added a little more of color. I'm just going to work on the sections that are, contour, in between contours here to fill. Remember, you're filling everything in, so don't leave out spaces. Fill everything in. Use the smaller brushes to go in terms of going in close to contours of the body of the girl, or or the flower. And then when you get outside, you can obviously use. Okay, now we don't need the help of this picture. So I'm just taking this away. So focusing on the contours, I'm going to do a fast contour lining. Can I do that? Of course. So I'm just doing the contour lining here. This is brush number 3. Okay. That is helpful for me to just go over the contours. So I can kind of, erase all those numbering that we did in the previous class. You don't need that anymore. Filling it in, following the contours. These small little spaces are confusing, but they are important that we take care of it. It's mixing with my the lotus's color, but it's okay as long as we're able to define the spaces and close that, blank lines. It is okay that we move on. We try our best not to make mistakes, but mistakes also happen. It's a part of the learning journey. If you have done something terribly wrong, or painted over one of those important contours, you can repaint it. So remember, you have. That's why I always have a tissue and earbud around. Earbuds really are helpful to go into that sensitive areas and remove only that section that you're not convinced with. So I have managed that, almost close to completion with the contour of the girl, and moving on to the contours of the flower. I guess we are now ready for the contours of the flower fully. So all these grids are, nearly vanishing or next to vanishing. Do not worry too much of the grids. Like I mentioned, if you have drawn the grid with a paint, oil paint, it will fade away naturally when we have all the layers coming in. At one point, you'll forget that there used to be a line like this. So do not worry too much about it. But if you have used lead instead, a lead pencil to draw, be aware of it. It will mix with these colors. In these colors, it will mix and it will turn gray. You still can manage. The color will be gray looking now. You'll have to wait for it to dry, and maybe in the next layer you can make it better. It depends on how dark or light you have drawn those contour lines and grid lines with the help of a lead pencil. Not worry, even that can be handled, but yeah, do not get disappointed if you see a gray patch coming because it's the oil is mixing with the lead. Okay, I'm doing the contour of the lotus, finishing the contours of the lotus and contour of the gold dish. And I want to readjust this. This space is going to be for me, and I'll tell you why. When I come to that, it's going to be for my signature. That's why I have adjusted it a little bit. And now I think I'm ready to move on to possibly a bigger a bigger brush. I think I have brush number 11, flat. I think we used it in one of those sessions. I don't remember which, but this is good enough for me to work on the rest of the section. So if you look at me, I'm just going wild with this brush and filling in that remaining section. And I also do the sides. For me, sides are also equally important, but I keep in mind that I'm giving my customer or end user of the product a chance, an opportunity to have the painting the way it is without a frame or with a frame if you're choosing. So I would like to have it in that format. That's why I prefer to color the sides as well. And I do that in every layer. You would have noticed that, in the basics session when I did the layer 1, yes, I did the sides as well. Okay, I think I'm needing a little more of these 2 colors. I've used a little bit of crimson and ultramarine blue, and maybe added a bit of black and ivory black and white. Let's do the mixing with brush number 3 to get back to that color. Okay, it comes back, but it is quite different now. That's the problem. When we add colors, mix them, we'll have to mix enough. Otherwise, right now I have a different color you can see here. Okay, I'm going to, I know that it's turned a little bit towards the pinky side because I've added a little too much of crimson, obviously. So let's add ultramarine blue to do the fixing. But this is also a part of learning, isn't it? That we are learning to work with colors, and also the paintings like these, this size can be managed. This size can be planned, meaning you can already think of having enough paint that you can fill in the whole of the canvas, or look at me what I'm doing. I'm actually painting over the space where it's lighter because of what I had before. And I'm adding the color on other sides. So I'm making harsh strokes, but I'm eventually going to flesh them out and blend them in thoroughly, that it fills the whole body of the canvas in all directions so well. I'm just doing it because I want to see how the color sits, and also in a way I achieve the darker color that I wanted. So larger brushes help easily maneuver through this. If you're not comfortable, you can continue using smaller brushes and do it. It will be slightly slow. It doesn't matter. And I often mention this in my tutorials that the hours of learning that I have planned for the rest session is actually real time. So that's the exact number of minutes or hours that it took for me to do the work. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it should take the exact time or even lesser for you. You could take a little more time to do this. So I have filled it here, and let me just push it up to show you. Yeah, so that's how it is looking here. So this side is looking neat and tidy, even the side. And let's do the other side as well. I'm just going to move it like this, so it's you can see better on how she is looking, yeah. And within 3 classes, if you see, we had an idea, and we had 2 different references, and we have planned on that. We executed on that in the last session, and this session we already have a kind of picture ready. Even though it's got a lot of work to be done, can you see the difference that you have come so far in just 3 classes? Well done. And do not feel bad if something isn't looking right. We are going to work on it section by section, detail by detail. And you will somehow see that, oh, I missed that, but now I get an opportunity to rework on that. So it's not like we have left it over fully. We do the sides, of course we must. I prefer doing the sides. Like I said, it's up to you. And if you are doing 8 pictures, going to take up all my 8 courses, doing 8 pictures, and yeah, do remember that the sides will really help. Without having the sides painted also will be a great idea, but the sides will help. I don't know. I'm thinking of using similar color tonalities, and I don't know how you would want it. So you want to think about that also. I have both the sides done. The top and the bottom side needs to be done. So I'm just going to move this slightly. So I could do it like this and then work on the remaining 2 sides. think I have done a background like this before. So I'm happy with this idea. Maybe I did when I was doing a practice session. Following another artist's work and trying to do what he did. Maybe I did. Maybe I did the darker ones. I have done that, but not for my own productions. It was just practice sessions. So I'm really excited about this. We're done with this. So actually we have done the layer 2 of Adi Lakshmi painting. I'm going to put it back so that we are ready for summarizing. Yes, fantastic. So my hands are full of colors. Yes, fantastic. So let's bring it up here like this. Okay. Right here. Yeah. So we make a stop here. We are done with layer 2. And what we did today in today's session was to do two things. One was to look at possible areas of improvement, which I did in my case. I wanted the size of the girl to be slightly one notch bigger, so I have consciously tried to improvise on that. And then number 2 was to do the finish the layer 2, meaning blocking or filling the entire space of the canvas with any color. Yeah, not necessarily the color that we must use for the end product, but right now we have managed to fill in that. And I'm just checking every single nuance, every single area that could possibly be left over while I'm talking to you. I'm checking one more time to be sure that there isn't any section that is not painted at all. Yeah? I think it is, and it is done. And we are now ready to leave it to rest. I would suggest that leave it for a couple of days, let it dry, and then you will also get an idea on how to rework or work on certain sections and see the scope for improvement and so on, and then come back with an objective mind to work on layer 3 after a couple of days. So that's what I would also suggest. So until such time that we are meeting in the next class, I would definitely thank you for today's session. Thank you for being patient with me and following this through. Until we meet in the next class, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Let's see this beautiful painting through the finish line. Bye bye.